Hello and welcome to Luzhou for semi-finals day at the Ning BWF World Superseries Finals, the culmination of the 12 tournament OSIM BWF World Superseries. The top 8 in each of the 5 disciplines qualified for these end-of-season championships, and for the last 3 days the players have battled it out in a group round-robin contest, and now the top 2 from each group has qualified for today's semi-finals. Well, there you've got the smash speeds for the week, and it's all headed up by Fu Haifeng. Well, no surprise there, he holds the world record, but he won't be contesting semi-finals because he and his partner, the world champions, did not qualify for semi-final stage. But let me tell you what we've got coming up for you in this afternoon's session. We're starting with women's singles and the current world champion Wang Yihan in an all-Chinese affair against the number 2 seed who ended up second of Group B, Wang Xin. Then we'll have men's singles and Li Chongwei, the world number 1, against Chen Long of China. Then women's doubles and Peterson and Ruta Yul of Denmark, who topped Group B. They're up against Hart and Kim from Korea. Then men's doubles and the World Championships silver medalists Go and Yu from Korea up against the defending champions Bo and Mogensen from Denmark. And then the last of our 5 matches this afternoon, the world champions Zhang Nan and Zhao Yunlei up against the Japanese pair of Ikeda and Shiota. Well, that's what we've got coming up, and the players you can see waiting in the wings there to emerge onto court. I'm Jill Clark, and sitting alongside me, as he has done all the week, keeping me company. Today is former England head coach Ian Wright, and Ian, it's been tough matches all week to get to the semi-final stages.
Yes, it's been interesting to see how the top players have responded to the group play situation. It's thrown up some interesting scenarios, particularly yesterday. And the culmination is in the ladies singles that we've ended up with an all-Chinese semi-final, which is, I'm sure, is not what they were hoping for.
No, and the reason we've ended up with an all-Chinese semi-final is because Wang Xin was beaten yesterday evening by the young Indian player Saina Nehwal and beaten in 2 straight games, 21-17, 22-20. Well, let me tell you that Wang Yihan has arrived at semi-final stage, and she hasn't been unscathed either, because her very first match she lost to Sung Ji-hyun of Korea in 3 games, and then bounced back, did Wang Yihan, beating Tina Baun of Denmark, and then yesterday defeated the German Juliana Schenk. So both of these players suffered 1 defeat within their group. Now, the left-hander, Wang Xin, she's the older of the 2 players, 26 years of age, whereas the world champion, as she is, 23, from Shanghai, the world champion. And she finished the year on the Super Series ranking as number 1, as indeed she is on the world ranking. She competed in the Super Series finals of 2010 and lost at this stage, semi-final stage, when she was the number 2 seed, lost out to Bae Young-ju of Korea. So there's confirmation of her world status, number 1, and her win-loss record for the year, very healthy indeed, 49-7, and that translates into 8 finals, including 6 titles. So to the left-hander, the 26-year-old from Shenyang, the capital city in Liaoning province. Number 3 in the world ranking, win-loss record not quite as impressive as her opponent, but it does translate into 6 finals this year with 5 titles. Now, the last time these 2 met was in the final of the China Open, the last of the 12 Super Series events, and as you can see, Wang Yihan was 18-12 up when her opponent retired injured. Now, just before we get underway, Ian, I have to mention the fact, as we look at Ning, 2-time Olympic champion, women's singles coach, the fact that today, as the umpire announces the match to begin. There's our service judge from Austria. Umpire from China. Left-handed Wang Xin, far side of the court, getting this semi-final underway. Ian, we've got to mention the fact that early stages of this competition, and Wang Xin had that strapping on her right thigh. Yesterday, against Sina Nawal, there was no sign of it at all, but the strapping is back again today, and that's worrying.
It is. Apparently that's the injury that forced the pull-out in the final in Shanghai a couple of weeks ago. Not a good sign to see that she's had to have it restrapped today. But I also noticed the top of the right leg of Wang Yihan is strapped as well underneath the shorts. We'll see it when she lunges. Yeah,
that's been the case all week, though. I've noticed that previously. I have to say, though, I thought in the China final, Wang Xin was, when she called the doctor, was talking about her knee, not her thigh.
Well, the post-match, it was apparently thigh. It certainly looked that way when the doctor came onto court, but the press afterwards was saying it was a hamstring strain.
Well, not only is this the 9th meeting between these two players, it's the 6th time they've met this year.
Yeah, as we've seen all week, there's quite a drift in this hall from left to right. And that was a good example of it early on in this match.
It's a good rally.
Punishing rally. Maybe Wang Xin's learnt a little bit from yesterday. Yesterday she seemed to force the play a little bit against Sina. Wang Xin's a player who, at her best, is a rallying type player. Looks to create space by playing 5, 6, 7 shots. Plays with a good deal of patience and creates the space for the smashes, as she did there. As opposed to Wang Yihan, with the extra height and the extra power, she is able to attack a little bit earlier in the rally. She's able to adopt a more aggressive tactical plan against most players.
Well, it hasn't been the best of starts by the current world champion, has it? And rather too many unforced errors.
Yes, and we've seen it several times this week, haven't we? She's had some very nervous starts to matches. She doesn't actually look in very confident form, you'd have to say. She struggled a little bit in each of her 3 matches early on.
Yes, of course, struggled yesterday against Juliana Schenk.
In all 3 of the matches, I think she's been down at the first mid-game interval.
That's short.
Yeah. There's a good chance the same pattern will be repeated today. The way things are going.
What is the reason why a player would be a slow starter? Is it that mentally they don't prepare themselves well enough, or physically, or?
Well, it can be It can be either of the two, or it can be a combination of the two. Wang Yihan traditionally just a little bit nervy to start at the start of matches. Doesn't quite get the balance right between attacking play and rallying situations to work her way into the game. What we've seen this week is she started the first match quite passively, really, and then in the second match she overcompensated and tried to attack too much early on. She's never really got the balance right during the group stages of this competition. Missed it. Good patient rally from Wang Xin. Just following on from that point, Jill, it's been noticeable with Wang Yihan that the mid-game intervals have really been to her advantage this week, where the coach has come on and been able to give her a little bit of direction and focus her a little bit better on what she should be doing tactically. Of course, in a China v China match, there'll be no coach coming on, so it'll be interesting to see how she deals with it independently.
Goodness me. Did very, very well there, did Wang Yihan.
Yeah, good example of a strength there. Shuttle was way behind her. Able to not just hit high and hard, but with good precision to the corner as well.
Oh, yes, well taken.
That's good rally from Wang Xin. Wang Xin working Wang Yihan around the rear court. The problem for her is if she does just miss the trajectory, go a little bit too flat or a little bit too short, there's an instant penalty. Wang Yihan's very quick to intercept the shuttle.
Yeah, tall athlete too. 178, that's 5'10". Whereas Wang Xin, 166, so definite height advantage for the world champion. Oh, that was going out.
Yeah. Again, Wang Xin using good width and good variety. Regular changes of direction, using the full width of the court, both at the front and in the rear court. Keeping Wang Yihan on the move the whole time, not giving her time to get organised and use the big attacking shots that she likes to use. That's way out.
Oh, great defence.
Great defence, but Wang Xin, that's probably going more than half a metre out of the court.
Yeah, I couldn't believe she took it. This one.
You see it here, watch where her feet go. Look how far out of the court she is.
No wonder there was a gap across court.
It was a big cross court.
Of course, the conditions have changed here slightly today because we're down to one court and they have moved the courts into the centre of the stadium. And the lighting is a little bit different to what they've been playing under for the last 3 days.
Must have been close. Wang Xin left it, but then it was a very anxious look at the line judge to make sure he was going to call it her way. Yeah, just out.
So as you predicted, Wang Yihan down at the mid-game interval. So Wang Xin, number 3 on the world rankings, but number 2 on the Super Series rankings.
An interesting mid-court interval. Which player can come off the quickest? Start the second half. Certainly I've had the feeling this week Wang Yihan has been a little bit dependent on the coaches. She's not really been able to find her own way early on in matches. It'll be interesting to see what solution she comes up with here.
It's always difficult for two players who train together to play against each other in competition. They know each other's games inside out. It's wide. That's wild. Goodness me.
It's a poor shot. Just the last couple of times she's gone into that corner, she's looked a little bit tentative to me. Deep backhand she took, she didn't seem to be on balance, and she was definitely off balance for that shot.
Always landed in. Oh. Physicality of Wang Yihan in that deep forehand corner. And the Danes there will be competing in the women's doubles, the third match on court. Ning, singles coach, just behind them.
That ends that run, but you'd have to say Wang Yihan, the break, mid-game interval came at the right time for her. A little break gave her time to refocus as she was able to come out and play more patient rallies and win 4 points in a row. Good width, good width. Short down to the forehand corner of Wang Yihan, and then whipping the next shot across the court to the backhand side. Using the full width of the court. There we see it. That's close to the right-hand side of the court. Cut down to the left-hand side of the court.
Seem to get behind that, Wang Yihan.
No, it was quite a... Wang Xin actually hit a good length there, and Wang Yihan guilty of forcing the play there. Needed to be more patient. As you say, she was never really behind it.
That's drifted wide as well. Being caught back up after the mid-game interval when she was 4 points adrift. Now immediately her opponent wins 4 points, restores that 4-point advantage.
It's been a patchy game so far. Quite a few errors from both players, mixed up with some really good winning shots. No real rhythm developing here. No pattern to the game so far.
That's wide.
Game not really in balance to play that shot, to play the attacking line. She was trying to play to the line, but she was a little bit out of balance, and that just pushes the shuttle out of the side.
Looks to me as if she's able to play with more freedom mentally today. Wang Xin, she looked very nervous at times yesterday against Sina Nawal. Good judgment.
Yes, and one of the key indicators of that was really she played very poorly around the net, didn't she?
Yeah.
And that's always a sign of nerves, gripping the racket a little bit too tightly, losing the feel and the touch of the shuttle on the racket. And today her net touches look really good so far. Well, again, it's an error rather than a winning shot that decides the point, and that's been the pattern of this game so far. A lot of errors, a lot of shuttles going out to the sides of the court, one or two out of the back. Not playing the conditions very well there. She knows now by this stage of the week there's a big left to right drift. Shuttle just got caught on a current of air, drifted outside.
So just 1 point in it now. Oh, that was getting out too, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so.
Missed it.
Again, it's an error, not a winner.
Oh, good retrieving. Couldn't get the next one.
Better rally. Both players playing with better precision. Again, it's classic Wang Xin play. Lots of cross-court shots. Trying to use the width of the court as much as the depth of the court. Nicely played. More aggressive approach from Wang Yihan. 2 attacking smashes, following in, flicking into the rear court. Nice play. Straighter play from Wang Yihan. She likes to play straight and follow in straight, whereas Wang Xin's always looking to change the direction. Hit lots of cross-court shots. There we go again. Using width. And again.
Rally. Oh my word, brilliant! How on earth Wang Yihan gets this one back? Cross-court net shot, finds the net cord, and then the simple kill. That was great scrambling. No, not surprising, both players taking the opportunity to towel down after that rally.
Yeah, at last both players playing well in the same point. Great court coverage from both players there, but Wang Yihan took the chance with the cross-court attacking drop shot and somehow was able to cover the short diagonal reply. Excellent agility.
So for the first time in this opening game, the world #1, Wang Yihan, goes into the lead.
And again, it's that width play again. Deep to the forehand rear court and a quick change of direction to the short backhand side.
Going wide.
And again, the error coming from that deep round the head corner from Wang Xin, off balance. Just looks a little bit wary to me of landing on that right leg.
The block just far too loose. All level once again. 19 all.
It's gone a long way out the back. Big swing. Lost control of the shuttle.
So having been behind for most of this opening game, coming good at the right moment, and now on game point, Wang Yihan. She was in all sorts of trouble. She'd been pushed deep into her forehand corner. Desperate to get out of trouble, drove the shuttle. It hit the top of the tape before just crawling over. Cruel for Wang Xin. Look at that. What can you do? A little smile from Wang Yihan. She knows how fortunate she was to win that last point, but she has indeed won the opening game, 21-19 in 24 minutes of play.
Yeah, a little fortunate to win that first game. Wang Xin was all over that last point. She was there, ready to intercept that straight reply, but the net cord beat her all ends up. And she made the run-in for most of that game, but Wang Yihan's maybe greater attacking intent telling in the end. Just a little bit more positive in her approach.
Well, I wonder how much that opening game has hurt Wang Xin psychologically, because having been in the lead for so long, still not being able to convert, and the manner in which she lost that last point, which, as you say, Ian, seemed to be in command. She'd got her opponent in all sorts of trouble, and then cruel misfortune for Wang Xin. Second game. Well,
that's an incredible shot. She was half leaving it, didn't know what to do. Just, what shall I do? Well, I'll just cut it down to the line and win the point. Excellent control.
Good rally.
Yeah, good rally, good play. Wang Yihan late, both in the front court and the rear court, setting up the easy opportunity to win the point. Good positive play, takes the shuttle early. It's behind Wang Yihan, she's able to follow in.
Really didn't move terribly well in that rally, Wang Xin.
No, she's just struggling in that corner. Certainly when she's trying to go around the head, she looks very wary of landing heavily on that strap right leg. That's a good shot. Gets her own back for one earlier from Wang Xin. Wang Xin just committing the error, going just a little bit too flat. Wang Yihan using her height, reaching up, bringing the shuttle down really steeply across the court.
Overdone it.
Yeah, forced the point there. Wasn't on, it was behind her. Even if it had gone over, she'd have had to cover the long diagonal.
And this is where Wang Xin has to be mentally so tough, so disciplined after the disappointment of that opening game. Somehow got to put that out of her mind.
Persisting with this cross-court tactic of trying to use the width of the court and try and stretch Wang Yihan laterally. That's too short, too flat. Again, easy interception for the tall Wang Yihan.
Oof. me, that must have been close.
I think she was trying to hit it. I think it was out, but Wang Yihan, I'm not sure she actually judged that. She just couldn't reach it in the end. She's trying desperately to get there, look.
Yeah. Well missed then.
It's got to be long, yeah. You see she intercepted that quite a long way up the court and then tried to play a flat clear. It's always going to drift out the back.
That's a good clear. Oh, missed it.
Yeah, didn't allow for the left to right drift. Oh, she got one back, but not on such an important point. The one she suffered, of course, was on the game point for the first game.
That's gone wrong as well.
Yeah, again, I don't know if we're going to see it again, but she's intercepted that shuttle a good metre and a half, 2 metres up the court. And that makes it very difficult to control the length if you want to play a clear. She really needs to be bringing those shuttles down from there, as she has done there to good effect. That's a good shot.
That's lovely.
This time it's Wang Yihan that goes a little bit too short, a little bit too flat. Easy interception for Wang Xin. She's a bit disappointed there. She got behind it. It's a tentative drop really into the net.
She never seemed to really hit through the shot.
No, she seemed to quit on it, didn't she?
Wang Yihan, the only singles player to win 3 Premier Super Series events. First year, of course, 2011, the Premier Super Series. She won in Korea, Indonesia and China. So a 3-point advantage halfway through this second game. Having already taken the first, Wang Yihan.
too flat up the forehand wing of Wang Xin. Wang Yihan giving Wang Xin the chance to jump out, intercept it early, bring the shuttle down, just block it off.
Seemed to stop running towards that. Do you think that was the injury problem?
Not sure. Just think she realised she'd made a poor choice, really. She was off balance, and she's wanted to hit a lot of cross shots in this match so far, but I think Wang Yihan's starting to read that now.
And the gesture there from Wang Yihan, she's saying to herself, come on, think about the drift, you know it's going to go faster that way. Brilliant. What a super shot.
Yeah, better tactic, I think, as well, mixing it up a little bit, using some straighter drops. She's not used that very often in this match. Tended to force and go cross. Nice variety there. Wang Xin back level. Got there in the end, a little bit tentative, you'd have to say. Having said that, she ensured she didn't make the mistake, was patient, kept the shuttle going down, kept the pressure on her opponent, and eventually won the point.
Yeah, completely outmaneuvered.
Yeah, good intensity from Wang Yihan. Wang Xin off the net. See Wang Xin all out of balance there. Couldn't hold the lunge position. Oh, read it and then missed it. Again, Wang Xin playing the cross drop. It's becoming a little bit predictable, that tactic, you'd have to say. Too short. Pressure, defensive backhand, not able to generate enough power to get it to the back of the court. Easy finish for Wang Yihan. Well, there's been a couple of clues there for her in this game, hasn't there? The twice she's used the straight drop, she's won the point. Between, she's persisted with the cross-court drops, and it's not effective at the moment.
That's a tactic that Simon Awol used to great effect last night, the body smash. Yeah, the super backhand from Wang Yihan, and followed forward immediately.
Again, Wang Xin looking for the cross drop. She got there early, intercepted, but to be honest, made a little bit of a mess of the attempted cut across the court. And again, Wang Yihan had read it, she was on the way in that direction. It's better.
Yeah, because the last 4 points or so, which looked to me as if she was physically very tired, didn't seem to be moving particularly well. Giving up on a couple of rallies. And it was much more positive.
Yeah, good play. Wang Xin fixed in the middle of the court because of the previous couple of body smashes that Wang Yihan's used, and that just opened space down the line.
Oh, my goodness. She's retrieved another one at the net. Wonderful control when under severe pressure. And that great net shot has brought Wang Yihan 5 match points. This one well saved. This time, and a good performance after a fairly slow start from Wang Yihan, just proving why she is the world champion and the world #1. Defeating her teammates and #2 seed, Wang Xin, in 2 straight games, 21-19, 21-16. In the end, I think the left-hander, yeah, they're just not able to change direction. Perhaps the fatigue in the legs, perhaps even the injury problems. 41 minutes though for Wang Yihan to book her place in the final. 21-19, 21-16. So that's the first of our 5 semi-finals this afternoon. And Wang Yihan, the world #1, beating compatriot Wang Xin in 2 straight games. Coming up next, as with the women's singles, we've got the #1 and 2 seeds battling it out at the semi-final stage.